Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Cheryl, who is an adult gero nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working as a hospitalist full-time. She started an acute care telemedicine practice about a year ago that is performing poorly. It has not gained steam, and she is not obtaining many patients. She also started a Medicare risk assessment business that has been slow getting started. She's needing assistance figuring out how to get patients and is she marketing appropriately. Also, she is second-guessing her choice for the services she selected and not sure where to go. Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for helping out here. So just bring us up to speed with where you're at. So you're a hospitalist. How long have you been a nurse practitioner for?
About 5 years now.
Okay. And you've been working as a hospitalist the entire time?
Yeah, primarily hospitalist. Initially was practicing in primary care. Then I got into the hospital. I thought maybe I have a better life balance, which didn't seem to be true.
Yeah. What kind of schedule you work? Is it like 7 on, 7 off?
So, 7 on, 7 off. But, that can even depend. Like, depending on how they need you, they just kind of do whatever they want with you, change your schedule as they please. So, it's just the life balance isn't there.
Gotcha. Is it night?
No, day shift.
Okay. Well, at least you got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old 7 on, 7 off. It sounds nice, but in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they beat us up. It's not like you're going to work, smooth sailing. And we do a lot as nurse practitioners, I know we're not doctors, but the way we work and the responsibility that we have is so intense. So, and even, trying to start your own business, like, I don't know if I really have the time for a business, Do I have time for marketing? I'm sleepy at night, so I don't want you to call me in the wee hours of the morning. And that's a lot of where my patients come from, and I'm tired. I have to sleep. So I think a lot of it as well is, I don't think I put in what I've needed to put in to have a successful business the way I want. I think I magically just wanted to take off, you know?
Yeah. And, I think that your choice probably wasn't the greatest. I mean, you started a telemedicine, acute care, urgent care kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to generate a profit doing that. 2 reasons. The market's so saturated with that. I mean, there's just so many of them. It's nothing special. Most of it's insurance accepting and
right. And that's the thing. I don't take insurance. A lot of the competition, they're taking insurance, know?
Right. So yeah, so you have a huge wall in front of you. And then plus, it's just a one-time visit. There's no recurrent income. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So you're working 7 on, 7 off. It can be hard to find balance to work on a business. I agree. Because the day before you're dreading going, and then the day after you're just so tired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked 7 on, 7 off at an urgent care for a while. And, the week off is great, but 7 on is just, you have absolutely no life for a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess tell me a little bit about this telemedicine practice. So you started this about a year ago. So just kind of walk me through kind of what you did.
I launched it a year ago. I think another area I went wrong with the telemedicine practices, you're new to this and, I had someone help me with a website. And I feel like once you get involved with some of these web developers, you think it's just straightforward. I'm going to get a website for $1,500 to $2,000 or maybe $5,000. But by the time you're done with them, you end up spending so much money. You don't really understand the ins and outs of web development or things you really need, such as hosting, marketing. You think they make you believe that you need these things. I paid a lot of money for like social media marketing. You don't really get a lot of business from social media marketing. So, that's something I probably could have saved on when it came to the business. So, I kind of allowed them to wipe me out in the beginning financially. I was spending a lot of money on that and I didn't have any revenue. So that was a big mistake on my part.
Important lesson here that everyone needs to realize is that when you start a business, and even when you're operating a business, there are going to be sharks out there who are going to just nickel and dime you for whatever they can get. We've all made those mistakes as business owners. So don't be too hard on yourself about it. We've all wasted thousands of dollars on crap that just didn't return there was no return on investment. It was just a waste of time. Trust me. We've all been there. Okay.
Yeah. And then, like I said, like most of the time my booking is closed. And then when it's open, it's like I'm not available. I mean, like when people are calling, I'm not available. That's bad for business. I'm not able to answer, or it's like, I don't even have any appointments open. I have to work, or maybe I'm sleeping. Do I take that risk of waking up 3-4 o'clock in the morning to take that one patient? I only charge $55 for an urgent visit. It's not like it's worth being up all night for maybe 1 or 2 appointments at night. So then my booking was closed most of the time and it just wasn't a flow of patients at all, regardless, 1 or 2 patients here and there. It's just not enough to kind of keep you going as a business. And like I said, I didn't do well in like kind of being available. That's a problem with you. People call you. They're not going to call you again. Like if that didn't work that time, I'm not going to call them again.
Right.
So I had a lot of that going on.
Another important lesson, right? You have to be able to deliver what you're marketing, right? Your after hours acute care, and you're not answering the phone, then you're not delivering on it, right? So it's a waste of time, waste of money.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I also I'm not sure if I have this passion for this urgent care. That doesn't like calling me, telling me your ear is bleeding. I don't, I don't know what to do for you.
I worked urgent care for over a decade and, there's nothing passionate about it. It's just really not. Yeah.
I want to have fun. I want to have some passion about something,
sure.
As a business. Like, I just want to enjoy doing it. I go to work and, it's a hustle and bustle type of thing. It could be hard doing urgent care. It can be difficult. And then, the second part, my friend put me onto this risk assessment thing. And she told me she used to do it for a doctor she worked with. And it was so easy. And it seemed great, wonderful. This is exciting. I wouldn't mind doing something like this. So I got into it. I took your course. And all was well. And I don't think I really had the total understanding of, I've never dealt with insurances. So I started with the credentialing. I told them what I was looking for as far as the contracts. And they're just like, yeah, we can do it. I'm like, oh, this is great. Then when it's time and they're getting the contracts, these are not the contracts I'm talking about. Like, I want to contract with the health insurance to actually do just risk assessments with them. But no one seemed to understand. And when you call the insurances, you can't get in touch with them. You can't talk to anyone directly in the departments. It's very hard. So I also had that sitting, like now that's sitting. That's something I started a whole new business. And now that's sitting as well. I'm kind of credentialed with Medicare and I don't want to see them for a regular appointment. I just wanted to do risk assessments. And I don't have a brick and mortar, so I can't just go out there and find patients to do risk assessments.
Right. Okay. So 2 things here first. Okay. So the telemedicine practice, I'm assuming you're just going to scrap this thing.
I am going to scrap it.
Okay.
It's going to go.
Okay, good. Yeah. It sucks that you got to scrap it. Listen, my first business was a failure too. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of people's first businesses are failures. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, just accept the fact. Learn from your mistakes. You made lots of mistakes and you learned from them, right? You're not going to repeat that shit ever again, right?
No.
Exactly. So you'll learn those mistakes, valuable lessons, expensive lessons, but valuable lesson. And now you're going to pivot, right? Okay. So now you're starting the second business, this Medicare home risk assessment business. Okay. You took our course. We walked you through the process. And you are at that wall that a lot of people experience. How do I get those contracts? Not from Medicare, but from the insurance companies, right? How do I get the contract to where they send me patients to do the risk assessment. So then, their providers or whoever can bill more, right?
Yes.
Right. So this is a speed bump that a lot of people experience. And a lot of people just give up at this stage. Like they just give up. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Okay. Like you have to get the number, right? You have to talk to the right person. And like you said, it's a never ending phone call, right? Like they transfer you to this person and they transfer you to that.
Yes.
No one knows what the hell's going on. No one speaks to each other. I mean, one thing you got to remember about insurance companies is that there's literally thousands, tens of thousands of employees.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. All right. There's a lot of people that work at these insurance companies. All right. So it's just getting that right contact. Once you get that contact, though, then it's not that hard. We've had a lot of nurse practitioners have had problems with this. We've had a lot of nurse practitioners who haven't. They just kept calling. They finally got in contact the right person, They even had some nurse practitioners that just email the insurance credentialing department. Like they actually get the email to the credentialing department of the insurance company and simply email them. I'm interested in doing Medicare risk assessments for you. Who do I need to contact to get the contract to do them through you guys, to do them for you guys? So you guys can send me patients to do the risk assessment, right? Sometimes emailing the credentialing department will allow you to kind of like open that door. And sometimes it's just like calling the right person at the right time who knows who you need to speak to. Unfortunately, there's just no way that we could give you a list of these people.
Right.
There's just no way. It's unrealistic, right? There's just no way we could do that. It changes. It changes all the time. People quit their jobs and leave and come and go and whatnot. So I would hate for you that you've set this up and just give up on it,
Yeah, I think what you just said right now kind of gives me the encouragement because that's what I did. I kind of gave up on it. It's still there though, I have everything in place, but I'm at work every day too, and I'm working 5 days a week right now. So it's like the time is just not there, and I won't really be free till April 22nd, but I need to, like you said, get on the phone, call. Just keep calling. Don't give up. It seems so complicated and hard, but like you said, if this was easy, everyone would be just doing it, right? And you have to put in a little bit of a hard work. You have to find that time. So I think that's what I'll start working on tomorrow.
Yeah, that's just what you got to do. And then this is the other uphill battle here, right? Is that's just one insurance company. Now you got to call the next one.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
I have 8 of them to call. Yeah.
Right. It is daunting. Okay. But once it's done, it's done. It's going to take you a lot of time. It's going to take you lots of no's and, just recalling and whatnot. So, just keep that in mind. Let me give you a little personal story about, I don't do Medicare home risk assessments, but something kind of similar was when I first got started doing medical cannabis evaluations, I wanted to kind of break into the local regional dispensary scene. Okay. Because the patients go to the dispensaries to pick up the cannabis, right? Like that's where your patients are. How do I get in there? How do I get in to get the patients, right? And so I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna start cold calling all the dispensaries, right? I just called dispensary after dispensary after dispensary. No, we don't need a provider here doing it. We don't need this. Well, we already have someone, blah, 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 blah. Or here's the manager's number. I call the manager, leave voice, but never get a call back or anything. And so I don't remember what number dispensary it was, a dozen or something. But after I called one, it just happened to be that the regional director of this dispensary system, like they own like 20 dispensaries in my state, the regional manager just happened to be there when I called. And the person who answered was like, oh yeah, here, talk to Joe or whatever his name was. And I talked to him and he was like, oh yeah, we actually do need a provider at this location to do evaluations. And then like, I got a beer with the guy like the next night and we talked about it and boom, I had my in. And then from there, I had my in. And then that opened up other opportunities. And 4 years later, right? I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't make that one phone call. I promise you that. I doubt Elite MP would have ever started.
So persistence pays off. That's the lesson.
Exactly. Exactly. Persistence pays off. Right. Exactly. So you just can't give up. So another way that you can pivot here, this is one thing that a lot of people don't realize with the Medicare home risk assessments is that you don't need the contract to do this. Okay. You don't need that contract from the insurance companies. Once you're credentialed, you're credentialed. You're just credentialed with insurance. Anybody credentialed with insurance can bill for Medicare home risk assessments. If you understand how to bill, which is what we taught you in the course, right?
Yeah.
So if you know that coding and the codes to submit and that kind of stuff, anyone can do this. So you don't need a contract. But if you can get patients from primary care offices and that kind of thing, and you sell it to them. You say, listen, I'm going to do a Medicare home risk assessment on all your patients who have Medicare, and it's going to increase the amount that you can bill over a year, over a year span for each of that patient. It's going to increase your bottom line.
Okay.
It's selling. You have to sell yourself. It's not easy. Like I said, if this was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right. Okay. And so that's the second option. And I guess people veer away from that because, again, you have to be persistent and be able to talk to people. I think that's what I have to work on too. Like, it's almost like, oh, I have to beg someone for help. I don't want to, and I don't think that's good. Like, if you want to get into business, you have to really learn how to get out here, talk, and kind of demand what you want,
Exactly.
professional.
Exactly. You do. You got to develop a little bit of a thick skin here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get more no's than yeses. Just accept it.
Yeah.
Just accept it, The third option would be is to, do it to your own patients, on your own patients, but you don't have a primary care office seeing your own patients, right? So you can't do that. So another option though you could do though is like if you could find a credentialing company that knows how to do this. If you have a credentialing company that has an actual like certified HCC coder employed there, they will know the people to talk to.
I see. Okay.
Again, going to be calling all the credentialing medical billing companies that you can find in your state and find one until one says, yes, we have that.
Okay.
So that's another option you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we're looking it up.
Yeah. So, I'm surely to God, there's someone out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you said, I have about 8 to 9 insurances I have to call. I'm like having trouble with the first one. I'm like, oh my God, like this, I need to get through with this first one before I can start, working on the next and the next. And I have to keep calling. It just seems impossible.
I know. Well, you know what? Like just hit one, then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. Just don't get held up on one. Hang up and try another one.
Okay.
Like, just don't get hung up on one of them. The smaller insurance companies are usually the better ones, just FYI.
Okay.
Going with the big boys, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, for example, like that one's going to be hard to get into.
Okay.
Yeah. So you might want to call maybe some of the smaller state kind of insurance plans.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Now, this is another lesson learned here is that when you're dealing with insurance, they're the gatekeeper. Mm-hmm. You can't do anything unless they give you the approval, they give you the yes, or you know how to play their game, right?
Right.
So that's going to be something that you will always deal with this kind of practice. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it. I have to, like I said, I need to clear up my schedule. And if I want to have a business, which, I'm just kind of tired of the type of lifestyle I'm living, working as a nurse practitioner, not getting paid what I need to get paid, working hard, can't go take days off when I need to. Like, I'm ready to have my own business. I'm ready to be my own boss. And I think I just jumped into the telemedicine. That also seemed easy to do. It was exciting, but, I don't think I really thought about that as much as I should have. And really, I don't even have the time for it. Yeah. But the goal will be to, start my own business. I can work for myself. So I don't have to work for these companies full time and not get paid my worth. And, it's just a hustle.
Yeah, it is. Well, at least you see it though,
Yeah.
You're 5 years into your career. You're starting to see it now. I think I was 2013. It was about 4 or 5 years in for me too, is when I started kind of seeing the ceiling too.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I am 37.
30. Okay. So you're a year younger than me. This is the perfect time to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't do it now and you're, mid to late 30s, early 40s, it just gets progressively more difficult. But that's not to say you can't do it in your mid 40s or even your 50s. I've seen people do it, it just tends to get a little bit harder because, you might have more debt, more expenses, more family obligations and things like that.
Yeah.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and then other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. So I guess with that said, do you have any questions about the Medicare home risk assessment?
No, I mean, your class was wonderful. It provided all the information I needed. Like I've said, the hardest thing has been obtaining the contracts or just kind of thinking about going in a different direction. You want to give up, but you shouldn't give up. I think this is the most, I mean, I'm not going to say easy, but once you're into it, I mean, come on, I'm not trading anyone. I'm just literally doing an assessment,
Right.
I can do that.
Practically zero
No.
liability.
Right, right. So that's definitely something that interests me. So I think I just have to put in that hard work that's required and not give up and just start making these phone calls or start thinking about a different avenue for, risk assessments, teaming up with primary doctors. That's an option too. And
Yeah.
just selling on it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Or even partnering up with maybe larger, healthcare systems or something. Do they have someone doing that for all their patients?
but like the hospitals, you mean?
Yeah, like health
Primary.
systems that have multiple
I see.
offices, for example,
I
outpatient
see.
offices. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's just talking to the right person, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's just all these different people who are gatekeepers to these things. You just got to figure it out. Like, who do I talk to?
Yeah.
I guess it's just finding time, right? So what are your plans here? You said you had till like the end of April or whatever for a contract.
Yeah,
and
I
then
took
what?
an agency job for just 13 weeks. So, with that, I've been working 5 days a week, which is just not something I like. But, and I'm working evenings. So, that kind of sucks too. My time is just out the door. But, after April, I'm actually not working in May. And then I'll get back to working in June. I'm just going to kind of take that time to figure out, where am I going with this and just kind of put in that work I need to put into really focus on it. This is the second business, a whole different LLC. I've gotten an accountant for this one and we've done all kinds of stuff, to kind of prepare for a big boom. So I probably need to just go ahead and put in the work and do what I need to do and not give up, not be discouraged. Because having your own business, it can be discouraging when things aren't going the way you want them or you think they should go. But I think you need failure as well in order to grow. Like I'm learning. I'm like, I think I have the ideas. I started my own business, even though it wasn't successful. I've put in a lot of work, and in a sense of, starting the business. I know what to do. I think I have the idea. I just need to really, really bunker down and focus on this and not give up.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Yeah. I guess what things have you learned then?
I've learned
First
not to
business.
allow
Yeah.
the sharks to come in and make me think I need things that I don't need. That's number one,
Sure.
But I think what I've really learned is if you want something, you really have to work hard at it. It doesn't come easy, right? It's not going to fall into your lap. This doesn't happen overnight. And if you want something to be successful, you really have to put your all into it and go out there and get it. It's not going to come to you.
Yeah, I guess you thought that maybe it was going to be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was straightforward. Oh, I got to practice. People are going to want to see me. Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it's a lot more to consider when it goes into a business. But, it's kind of easy to open up an LLC. It takes almost nothing, That's fun. Like, oh, I have a business.
Yeah, that's one of those $100 questions, Like, who cares? It's an LLC. Just get one started and go,
Yeah.
whatever. Just get one, open a bank account, and you're good to go. Like, people focus way too much on that. Yeah, it makes no
Right.
difference. Like, focus on how you're going to market your practice. Like, focus on how you're going to get patients. Like,
Exactly. That's the important part.
that's the important part, right? That's why marketing is the number one function of your business. Like, you got to understand,
Yeah.
how do you
And
get people through the door?
you have to have different avenues for marketing. A few weeks ago, like maybe a month ago, I had started with like the Google, is that what it's called? Google marketing or whatever that is? Google ads.
Google
But
ads,
like I started getting hits with that. I was like, I've never used that. My whole year of having a business, I never used Google ads. I was just depending on social media for marketing. But I didn't hit the streets in my town. Like I could have went and handed out my business cards. I've never handed out my business. Like, it's like, well, what am I looking for here? You just can't depend on social media for marketing. You have to put a lot more into it, especially if you're not taking insurance and you have to convince people why they should pay you cash versus go somewhere where they're going to take their insurance. And that's why they call me at night because no one's open.
Right. That's a hard proposition with some people, like why should they pay you cash for something that their insurance covers, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's impossible to convince some people. Impossible. You're just not going to. You know what I mean? Like, don't even bother. Like some people are just like, yeah.
It was my understanding when I first started my telemedicine practice to like, you don't want to take insurance, don't take insurance because that's something I probably would have done in the beginning. But it's my understanding, if you're going to have a telemedicine practice, you would rather it be cash based only, so that's kind of what I went with.
The issue, though, is that you weren't providing a service that people attach value to. Don't get me wrong. Treating someone's bronchitis or ear infection or whatever, there is value to that, but not enough value to provoke most people to pay cash for it, because they know they're going to pay for it, right?
Right. They go to the hospital. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And so there's just not enough value attached to it. Like helping someone lose 30 pounds, there's a tremendous amount of value to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing someone's testosterone levels up, giving them a vitamin infusion is going to help them feel, a lot better. People attach value to that and they're willing to pay cash for that because one, it makes them feel better, like throughout their life, they get a significant amount of benefit from it, makes them look better. I mean, humans are envious people, they want to look good, right? Insurance typically doesn't pay for this stuff. And so that's another reason why there's a lot of cash value attached to it, right? So I think that was really your biggest issue is that you picked the wrong service for a cash-based practice. You just did. Sick visits, general primary care. It's very, very difficult to operate a cash-based business on that model.
Yeah. But I think I have gold with the risk assessment. If I can get into that, I think that's going to improve my quality of life big time. So I think I'm going to work harder at that and just kind of focus on doing that.
Yeah, good. Okay. So you're not interested then in starting another cash-based practice at this time?
Not that I'm not. I think I need to just kind of focus on one thing at a time right now.
Right.
I'm doing so much and yet there's no productivity. So I think I need to slow down, focus on something that I've already started, by the way, and just kind of try to get that going and then take it from there.
I think that's a good idea. Remember, you can only build one bridge at a time. It's very, very difficult to build multiple bridges at one time. It's just
Otherwise, I'm just clicking all over the place, like bouncing off like a bouncy mat, trying to just see what's going to work. I think I just need to slow down and rethink all of this, with the goals of definitely having a business up and functioning within the next couple of years.
Well, next couple of years, a couple of months.
I like that idea better. I mean, I have my risk assessment, so I'm definitely going to work at that. I have that. That is in full effect as far as insurance, credentialing. It's ready to roll. I just have to, like you said, sit down, make those phone calls.
Yeah.
I don't have to have contracts, get something going with primary docs, just go out there and sell them on it. So
exactly. It's exactly what you got to do. Make sure you have information, flyers, pamphlets, that kind of stuff. Get out there, knock on doors, drop stuff off. There's got to be a value proposition you're selling them on. What you're selling them on is that they are going to be able to increase their revenue. They're going to be able to increase their billings per patient based off of the risk assessments that you submit, and then higher, risk scores get tied to their patients. And now they can bill more and make more money. That's the benefit you're providing. That's what you sell them on.
Okay. And that seems easier because you get to probably go. Well, would you still go to their homes or would you do it in the office?
Either way.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to talk about pivoting both businesses just real quick, just from that standpoint. So the cash-based business, you have an LLC. I'm assuming the LLC is probably the name of the practice.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it might be difficult to pivot off that name, but you have a legal entity. You have a bank account, got a website, you got all this stuff. It's set up. So if you ever wanted to start a cash-based business, you could use that shell of a business to open up a cash-based business. That way you're not wasting your money on new LLCs and operating agreements and opening bank accounts up and all this kind of crap, right?
Yeah.
So you could keep that there. It doesn't cost you basically nothing just to keep it, all right? And then you could pivot off that and you could do like more or less a doing business as through it, a DBA. Okay?
Yeah.
So when I started a Suboxone opioid practice, kind of failed. I opened my medical cannabis clinic through the same LLC for a while, just because I'm not going to waste my money on another LLC. I was like, hell with it. Like same bank account, same LLC, same everything. I did that for like a year.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. So just keep that in mind. You can do that.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want through that LLC. If you wanted to start titling real estate in it, you could. Okay.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. Keep it. You got it. Why not? Right. So so you could pivot from there. So if you wanted to start another cash-based practice, let's say just cash-based weight loss, for example, just as an example, you could just do it through that. The Medicare business, pivoting off of that. Let's say, for example, it fails again. For some reason, your second business kind of just fails on you. If for some reason, maybe you can only get contracts with 2 insurance companies. Maybe it's just not enough to really make a lot off of, or maybe, you only get maybe a contract through one primary care office, or, just who knows? How are you going to pivot off that? Now you're fully credentialed with insurance. how can you use that to your advantage? I mean, could you do a small primary care office? Could you do a weight loss clinic where you bill insurance? Could you do a men's health clinic where you bill insurance? Could you do those things through that? Because you have a fully credentialed entity that's valuable.
Okay.
It's worth something. All right.
Okay.
So keep that in mind too. Be thinking about that. How can I use this to the maximum? How can I use this to its full potential, right? What service line did you credential in? Just like general primary care?
For the risk assessment business?
Business, correct.
I think because all I kept writing was risk assessment. But I think they kind of credential under like primary care type.
Under primary care, right. So you basically just have an entity that can just bill, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
You can just generally bill for stuff, right? Sick visits, primary care visits. You could bill for a weight loss visit. You could bill for a men's health visit if you wanted to. Okay, just standard E&M codes, right? Just standard evaluation management codes, 99213, 99214, et cetera. So you could pivot off that as well, all right? A weight loss clinic that bills insurance, a men's health clinic that bills insurance, a women's health clinic that bills insurance for the visits and then charges cash for the medication because insurance might not cover it, is a very, very profitable model.
Okay. Yeah.
So keep that in mind too. Like, I don't want you to just totally give up if for some reason that happens.
All right.
Have another idea. Have a backup plan. Okay. Be redundant.
Okay. All right.
Have a backup for a backup.
Okay.
So just have ideas. Sometimes you have to start a couple small businesses at the same time.
Okay.
And see which one takes off. That's what I did. I had multiple businesses going and I pivoted. I chose the ones that were generating the most profit.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
To this,
and if you have like a weight loss and HRT, those are things where they kind of, as a business, you can simultaneously kind of include that and see which one does which way kind of thing.
Absolutely. You can. You could do it in the same entity if you want. Okay. You don't have to start a completely separate entity at first.
Yeah.
Later you can. Okay. Let's just say, for example, let's say that you decide to offer 3 services through this one LLC. Let's say you're going to say, I'm going to do some weight loss and bill insurance. I'm going to do some men's health, I'm going to bill insurance. I'm also going to do some Medicare home risk assessment. Okay. I don't like mixing all those kinds of liabilities in one LLC.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a big fan of that. It's not a good idea. Long term, it's fine short term.
Okay.
Right now, it's okay. You can totally do that. It's completely fine. You just do DBAs, multiple DBAs, okay, doing business as under that one LLC. So if you go to the Elite MP website, click on all articles, use the search function, type in DBA. I wrote 2 articles on how to do it.
Okay.
Right? So you can have multiple DBAs under that one LLC. Okay. The Medicare home risk assessment, you don't need a DBA. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference, right? Who cares? Okay. Weight loss, it does. Men's health, it does. So you just create a DBA underneath that LLC and you would bill through that NPI, those credentials you have through that LLC.
Okay.
You could do that. So that's what I did. I started multiple businesses. All right. And I found out which one was the keeper. I've said this multiple times in this podcast. You got to cast out multiple fishing lines with multiple different baits and see what bites.
Okay.
One thing might bite, and then one you get the keeper. You're like, whoa, okay, that's the big one. Now I'm going to use that more often, right?
Okay.
It's the same thing with a business.
Okay.
So cast out multiple lines out there and just see what bites. So it's another way to pivot, and it honestly would be more redundant, and it would increase your chances of success.
All right. Definitely keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind, okay? There's nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, you have a fully credentialed entity. That's valuable.
Okay.
Any other questions or anything?
No, I think you've answered all my questions.
Perfect. That was a little shorter of an episode, but straight to the point. Yeah. I mean, I think that you're going to be good to go here. I think that you're going to be able to pivot off of one of these. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm going to do is, weight loss. You have a weight loss course and also a HRT course for women and men's.
Yep.
I think I'm going to sit down with that and, get that under my belt and just add that to my LLC. And like you said, just see what hits and take it from there.
See what happens. Right. Like you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you just never know what can happen. I've had so many guests on this podcast that one thing just blew their mind in terms of a service they were offering. I've had one where just getting vitamin injections was very profitable. Like she was making more money on vitamin injections than anything else. Like, what the hell is this? Well, focus on that then.
Yeah.
Or like some people were like, I've been just doing HRT and weight loss. Semaglutide's like our number one seller. Like who would have thought?
Right.
Like,
right.
You got to put it out there. Having a physical office probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you're going to decide to do that. Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Something cheap, something small. You don't need anything expensive. So any other questions there in terms of how you're going to pivot from here?
No,
Perfect.
I'm gonna take it from here, sit down and start brainstorming and hit something off.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, listen, I like to end the episodes with you asking me a question. You have any questions for me? Anything you're kind of wondered about or anything?
No, we've
Not really.
definitely crossed all the questions during the podcast.
All right. Well, keep me up to date with what's going on. I really like to know how things are progressing for you. So just keep me informed.
Will do. Thanks so much, Justin. Nice
Awesome.
talking to you.
All right. Nice to talk to you. Take care.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed that quick episode with Cheryl. A lot of good nuggets in that one, but I think the big thing here is that you can't let failure just stop you. You can't let one little speed bump stop you from progressing through your entrepreneurial journey. That's just insane. Just don't do that, okay? You're going to experience speed bumps, guys. Like, if this was easy, everyone would be doing it, all right? It's not easy. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some heartbreak. It's going to take some failures. Like, just expect it. Go into it expecting it. You won't be as disappointed. The key here is to pivot from it, though. Every failure you experience, every heartbreak you experience, you've got to pivot from that. You have to learn from that mistake. You have to learn from that failure. You have to learn from that heartbreak and then fix that issue and try again, okay? That's how you build a successful business. Hell, that's how you build a successful life in general. So just always be willing to pivot off the failure. If you don't, you're just going to fail. You have to be persistent. Never give up. All right. Hope everyone enjoys this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content of this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.